Great afternoon to all of you. It's finally we get to be on the driver's seat. It's good to be here. So we are here to talk about entrepreneurship in a large company environment, and also how can we help to create new technology unicorns. And with me here this afternoon I have Ramzi, who runs our tech business. He's the official propeller head in the company. And I have David and Upal from NGP, the Nokia Growth Partners, one of the most successful corporate venturing programs in the history. So, Ramzi, starting with you, one of the flagship proof of our entrepreneurship is the OZO, the virtual camera, virtual reality camera that we have launched. Can you shortly explain why that is so revolutionary?
OZO gives us the ability to put storytellers and a viewer in such close proximity in a way that's never been imagined before, creating empathy and creating a connectivity that's never been possible. We have been able to demonstrate what it's like to be an astronaut in Austin, Texas, where no one will ever be able to visit. So in our booth today, for example, you'll be able to see what astronauts do to get ready to go in space on a space station. We can take OZO and have a live feed from a Syrian refugee to show kids in our schools what kids in refugee camps go through in such harsh environment without exposing them to the dangers. So we live in a world where we can put people in a place where you can build as much empathy as you need to tell your story or make your case. And the fact that we've been able to do this in 15 months, from concept to shipping product, speaks to the innovation, entrepreneurial spirit that the team has within Nokia Tech.
And if you go to our booth 50 meters behind this stage, you'll actually meet the two internal entrepreneurs who have created this product. You'll see the fathers of this product right in the booth, and they are so proud of what they have created.
Yeah.
So, David, we are proud to have helped two Chinese unicorns grow their horn.
Yep.
How have we done that?
Well, first of all, we definitely look at a lot of companies, and we have 4 criteria from China. We look at the team. I call it 4P. I used to be in marketing, so 4P. People, the team, pain point, what kind of pain point they're solving. The third one is proof point, what have they done? And the last one is, of course, potential. So with the 4P, we selected 2 companies early on. One is called UCWeb. It was acquired by Alibaba a year and a half to 2 years ago for $4.7 billion US. And the second one is called Ganji, which was acquired about 6 months ago for $3.6 billion. So we've been helping them to grow, looking at how to enhance their offering with the user experience, and of course with the network that Nokia had in China, and also our capability in looking around the world, how classifieds are working around the world, how mobile internets are working. We give a lot of global experience advice to them, and then help them to exit. I think they were 2 of the most successful exits in China so far.
While David is based in China, Upal used to be based in India, and nowadays you're based in the Valley. And it just so happens that we have a unicorn in our portfolio from India and from the US. So everywhere you go, unicorns are just springing up. So
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. I'm an entrepreneur, so I have a lot of empathy for the entrepreneurial process. And just to give you a couple of examples, the company we backed in India is called Quicker. Quicker is like the Craigslist of India, the largest horizontal classified site. We backed this company when it was worth $30 million. Now, last week when I checked, Kinnevik from Sweden and Tiger Global valued the company at $1.5 billion. And the company only has a 5% market penetration right now, so you can imagine what the opportunity is. But the most important point I wanted to make was capital is cheap right now in the world, but relevant operating experience to help guide the entrepreneur is not. So what we really take pride in, and I guess everyone here in this in this panel has more than 20 to 30 years of experience really in mobile operating environments, where we've really helped entrepreneurs and differentiated ourselves has really been helping these guys grow by bringing all the pattern recognition, all the things we have learned along the way as former operating guys ourselves to help grow these businesses.
Can you guys explain how NGP, Nokia Growth Partners, is unique amongst other VCs? How does it help your portfolio companies that you're associated with Nokia?
Okay. Let me just take that then,
Go ahead.
in the interest of time. So we combine the boldness of an independent VC, which makes us bold and nimble, with the strategic benefit of being part of the Nokia family. So we get proprietary access to information and roadmaps through our relationship with Nokia, yet we have the speed of a traditional VC. Because of that, we've been able to find opportunities often ahead of where the other VCs have been. For example, Ramzi, and you're looking at the virtual reality space. It's a space of huge interest to us. We believe we have insights into this space, which a lot of the traditional Silicon Valley investors do not. And we certainly hope to take advantage of that and help entrepreneurs here who are building wonderful businesses in VR.
Yeah, that's a great example. NGP provides Nokia Tech with a much broader net that we would have been able to cast otherwise. We're a small team, we're only 700 people, and the NGP network provides us with a virtual network that we can tap into, and vice versa. When we come across companies that would be interested in NGP, it goes both ways. So it's been a really great relationship.
Yeah, so I consider us being sensors of the market. We always look at what are the latest, greatest development and the most innovative companies out there. And together with this outside innovation, with the inside innovation together, we can really find very, very good opportunities to do partnership and really build successful companies.
So we have the outside in and the inside out innovation. Our vision is called the programmable world, which is the combination of billions and billions of sensors out there, smart analytics in the cloud, interoperability between clouds, and the ability to influence the real world back based on the information that we gather and process. So Ramzi, looking at that from the inside out innovation point of view, what kind of opportunities do you see, for example, in the area of healthcare?
Nokia has been in the business of connecting people for decades. And in the case of healthcare, we see an opportunity to connect oneself with one's health by using science-based consumer products and experiences. We're able to guide people. I think there are opportunities to be able to guide people to a healthier, longer living life where you end up in a place where otherwise would not have been possible without these technologies. So the IoT world, the programmable place, the analytics that we can afford to put people on a healthier path and happier living is actually a very exciting opportunity that we look into. And another area which is also parallel to this is the definition of the hospital. We today live in a world where the hospital is a big, large building that has a beginning and an end. The future is a virtual hospital that can extend not only into clinics, but into our own home when we have the programmable world and wireless patient care and monitoring able to take a patient into the home, creating a much broader, bigger hospital with analytics and IoT devices that talk to each other, to clinics, to doctors, to experience centers. So it's a very exciting world, and I see it as a limitless opportunities, whether it's in the preventative health, the patient care, or this interesting area in the middle, this gray area that's not really clear. Is it consumer or professional?
So from the point of view of your portfolio companies, both current and future, what kind of opportunities do you see in the healthcare domain overall, and specifically being able to reflect on what assets and strength and competence and knowledge we have in-house due to the investments that tech is making?
Yeah, go ahead.
So specifically on healthcare, what we see is that there's a huge need for medical care. We're all going to live much longer than we ever used to, and this phenomena is extending into emerging markets as well. And we need to do more with less. So we see a collision of the world of Internet of Things and sensors and human augmented machine learning and AI coming together. And I think what that does is it creates these autonomic solutions where things are sensed and responded without human intervention. So if something happens, an event happens, it will trigger a response without the human being actually having to do it. We think this quasi-singularity concept is actually closer at hand than most people appreciate. And I think in 5 years from now, I absolutely expect at least 1 billion people are going to be looking at healthcare and medicinal advice and support in a highly augmented and machine way, not just in the United States and Western Europe, but in emerging markets.
Yeah, the emerging market with such a huge population of underprivileged people, the technology actually could help prevent a lot of diseases from happening. And I think the government in a lot of these emerging markets are going to invest a lot of resources on this kind of technology. I think Nokia, looking at this health area, is going to change the world, particularly the emerging market, of well-being for people. And that is going to be very, very important for a lot of this future development of the countries there.
So in addition to coming up with wonderful gadgets and wonderful new technology and owning one of the most valuable patent portfolios in the whole world and having one of the most successful VCs as underneath our umbrella, we are also a huge infrastructure company. So how does that help your portfolio companies and Nokia Technologies?
Go ahead.
Well, I used to be a salesperson. I used to run the Nokia handset business in China. And so when I pitch to the potential startups, and I always tell them, okay, you can see NGP, we have very experienced operating people. We ran business like $7-8 billion in China. But we also have thousands of engineers and a very rich portfolio company in Nokia to back us up. We have experts in a lot of areas. So, for example, virtual reality, health, digital, smart home, a lot of these, we already have a lot of deep-rooted knowledge. So operating experience, deep-rooted IP and engineering support experts that we can use. And people usually would be very receptive to our investment.
Yeah. The idea of companies and customers wanting to own end-to-end solutions, by definition, brings in the infrastructure piece. So we're going to see a lot of IoT verticals pop up, whether it's mining companies or water treatment companies that want to use the end-to-end solution. So our expertise in the IoT end user space goes hand in hand with what infrastructure we need to build. And so having that close relationship on the research side and the innovation side allows us to speak to every opportunity from an end-to-end perspective as opposed to just one piece of it.
So let's switch to talk about the entrepreneurial culture. Many of us automatically think that very large companies are bureaucratic and slow. During the past 3.5 years, Nokia has done a pivot that most startups can only dream of. When we complete the 2 transactions that we have currently underway, 99% of our employees at that moment will not have worked for Nokia 3 years before. Wow. So think about the depth of that pivot. In 3 years' time, a company with over 100,000 employees will have 99% and more new employees. Over 95% of our revenues were not direct Nokia revenues 3 years earlier. We have a new management team, a new board. Basically, we have changed all the atoms in the company, and the soul lives on. So can you talk a little bit about the culture of entrepreneurship and risk-taking as it pertains to your business? We expect you to take risks. That's why you exist. We expect you to create new, wonderful products that change the world. So how does being a part of a large company influence that culture? And then from your point of view, your customers, your portfolio companies are young entrepreneurs. How can we help them through that cultural exchange?
Yeah, I have to say this is one of the most fun parts about being part of Nokia Tech. First, to your comment about the statistics, I'm happy to say that we are part of that 1% that stayed behind. The 600 or so people from the CTO's office back in the phone days stayed behind, and they are very eager to go back. When I joined the company, just walking around the labs and seeing the amazing diversity in experiments. One of them was Ozo, and the other one is some things in digital health. And a team so eager to get back into the space was just so ready. And the idea was just to give them the space to operate. And this is a company that understands...
Basically unleashing them, allowing them to go forward.
Absolutely. The freedom, the space to operate, taking some risk, calculated risks, because we do have a valuable brand. We don't want to screw it up either. But
and you have a tough board.
Very nice board. It's been a wonderful experience. And again, Ozo is a proof point that we can do this, and we'll continue to do this over and over.
Oh, okay. By our name, we are a VC, right? So we are definitely taking risks. And we have the best of both worlds because we have the backup of Nokia, but also we have the independence of a VC company that is measured financially. So all we are doing is looking at what is the best entrepreneur company that we can invest. And it's a matter of balancing innovation with risk-taking, but also really measure the kind of potential that we have. So it's all about entrepreneurship. We also need to thank Nokia for giving NGP the kind of independence to act as an independent VC to do the kind of entrepreneur investment that we are doing today.
Yeah, so just one more thing I wanted to add was, even though 99% of the organization has changed, Nokia's brand has an emotion which is unlike any other brand I'm familiar with. And living in India, I still bump into people who will talk about that 3300 phone which they dropped in the water or threw outside and was still working. And there are a lot of great brands out there, Procter & Gamble, Apple, Microsoft, but emotionally there was something about the Nokia brand in emerging markets which was just hard to explain because it was their first connection to communicate, and communicating is such a visceral form of to a human being that something stayed with people. So when I go out there with the Nokia brand as our sole limited partner, I think it brings a certain appeal to people. And to me, that infrastructure is an intangible, not a tangible one. But to me, that has had a more bigger impact on how we have done business than anything else.
So quickly, all of you, name 3 areas where you expect unicorns to be born. What are the unicorn breeding grounds at the moment and for the next 5-10 years?
Right. So as a former entrepreneur, if I was spending my time, I would absolutely be looking at, as I said, the Internet of Things, but I'd be really looking at how to use machine learning and the two together. It's not about notifications and monitoring, it's about taking action. So think beyond Internet of Things. Think how you can combine that with powerful software. That's where Western Europe and United States are really strong in. That's where real value can be created.
Yeah, our homes are getting smarter and smarter. There are lots of sensors going to be put into our home. And unicorns will be built that make the home seamlessly serving the people living in there. That means whenever you want services, knowledge, whatever you want to do in terms of entertainment, you can get it just like that. And they know your preference. Smart home with all the blessings of the Internet of Things will happen.
Virtual reality is going to change the way we see the world, we experience the world, and we teach our children about the world. And in this decade-long evolution of this market, we're going to see a lot of very interesting companies pop up. The other area, as I mentioned earlier, is the digital health area, where what we have today is a very antiquated system that's extremely inefficient and non-sustainable. And just if you look at the inefficiencies in the system by itself demands a whole new way that we look at the world. And the last and really exciting area is automated driving. I think automated driving is going to be, it's just a fascinating change of how the world's going to evolve. And I'm guessing that my youngest son will never have to drive a car or learn how to drive.
You know, over the last 3 years, through this ongoing soul of Nokia, this 150-year-old proud company, and the internal spirit of entrepreneurship, we have also created tremendous value. The Nokia business value is now 15 times what it was just 3 years ago. And that's a pretty high multiple. You have seen even higher multiples by helping 4 new unicorns to come into being. And I know that you have baby unicorns in the portfolio, but there's still space for new baby unicorns. So these guys are really happy to talk to any of you who want to find out what it would be like to partner with NGP and Nokia. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day here at Slush.